SNAP has never run out of funding in its 60-year history, even during shutdown. Why were past administrations able to find funding to keep it afloat in a shutdown that you can't?
We're going to be talking a lot more about SNAP reform. We've got a lot of people listening now, which is very, very helpful. Become so bloated, so broken, so dysfunctional, so corrupt that it is astonishing when you dig in.
All right, guys, let's continue our tour of debunking the MAGA Mike Johnson Coke tour, the Coke Fest on this MAGA-led shutdown, but this time covering some of the other characters trying to defend the indefensible. If you can, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's just hop right in.
SNAP has never run out of funding in its 60-year history, even during shutdown. Why were past administrations able to find funding to keep it afloat in a shutdown that you can't?
Well, let me see. I've got a chart I want to show you all on the SNAP funding. My charts are slightly wanky because our print shop is closed because we're furloughed. So it was a little arts and crafts time over at USDA early this morning. So this is the chart of the SNAP program. Now, I know everyone can't see this, but this goes back to October of 2023. And I want everyone to follow. This is the red line that under Joe Biden, you see an almost 30% increase in the cost of the SNAP program over the 4 years that President Biden and the USDA was overseeing it with Congress funding it. And you see now the downward trend since President Trump was reelected November, and we've had about 650,000 people move off of SNAP since President Trump was elected. A press conference for another time. That's obviously the goal of all these programs, is to move families into real work.
Okay, this is an insane response to me. First, SNAP costs increased because benefits, they're decided by the Thrifty Food Plan. This calculates food costs from like what people normally buy, what the cost of food at the time is, like inflation, nutritional guidelines, more. Food costs went up, so benefits given went up, so the program cost went up. It's math, right? Also, the goal of food stamps is not to move people into work. The idea that we need a program to ensure people to have enough money to buy food when they have a job is incredibly disgusting. Can we just agree on that? But capitalism is great, guys, isn't it? The goal for a person who's caring for their sick elderly mother is not to transition into work. The goal for a mother of 5 is not to transition into work. The retired veteran on Social Security's goal isn't to transition into work. I mean, the list goes on, right? The goal is to help those who need it. I'm glad I could explain that for you, MAGA.
The One Big Beautiful Bill contained numerous Medicaid anti-fraud measures. Senator Tuberville recently highlighted a slew of aliens are receiving these SNAP benefits. Are there any plans to do the same with SNAP and totally reform it just to ensure that it's available only to U.S. citizens?
You want to?
Yes, in fact, we've already done that. Now, so a couple of quick things on the, I guess the silver lining in all of this is that we're having a national conversation on our SNAP program, that this has sort of shined a light on a program that, especially under the last administration, has just become so bloated, so broken, so dysfunctional, so corrupt that it is astonishing when you dig in.
And if you want to know what they mean when they say things like bloat, just look at what they cut. They cut work exemptions for veterans, the homeless, the disabled, and those with elderly persons or multiple children in the household. To them, the billions we give Elon Musk is not bloat. The billions we give to subsidize the oil lobby is not bloat. The billion or trillions, I should say, in tax cuts to the rich are not bloat. The billions we just sent to bail out Argentina are not bloat. The billions we give to rich contractors and lobbyists are not bloat. But the homeless, veterans, mothers, the disabled, yeah, them getting food is bloat. Listen, guys, schools having free lunches is bloat. Like when they tell you who they are, believe them, right? They don't value you. They value the privileged, the corporations, and those who make them money.
You have an extremely corrupt program, but up until this administration and with President Trump's direct focus on this and making sure every taxpayer dollar is spent appropriately, we've never really had the opportunity to dig in. So we're going to be talking a lot more about SNAP reform. We've got a lot of people listening now, which is very, very helpful.
I don't get how more people don't see through this thinly veiled bullshit with how much they try and play this card. They attack a really popular program, cut the funding so they can afford rich guy tax cuts. That's ultimately what they want to do with Obamacare too, and now with food stamps, I guess. And then they tell people they had to because of corruption, like, or DEI or waste, fraud, and it'd be like whatever the buzzword is. But the problem is they never show it. because there is none. They never speak specifically about what they cut either, because it's not waste, fraud, and abuse. And when Elon Musk looked under the hood himself with free reign, nobody could stop him. They let him into all these offices, have all this sensitive data. He found so little waste, fraud, and abuse that he fell 99.7% short of his stated goal. It went from one of the main things MAGA was talking about in the first 6 months to they are too scared to even mention it anymore, because it backfires on all the bullshit that they want to spew now about waste, fraud, and abuse, and how they had a guy look under the hood and couldn't find any. But it's definitely there, guys. It's definitely there. The problem is the waste, fraud, and abuse that does exist is in all the rich guy handouts, right? And they don't want to look into those. And when you look at what they do cut, it's never waste, fraud, and abuse. It's just things they don't like. Meanwhile, like the Pentagon fails 8 audits and gets a budget increase. But like, yeah, guys, they're just cutting waste, fraud, and abuse by taking away food stamps from veterans and the homeless.